Hello. Hi. The word hello does not start with F. I don't know why I started saying hello with the word F. F isn't a word. We're off to a great start so far. Welcome to my studio. My name is Fowler. If you're new here, you can submit your tracks. We'll listen to them, totally berate you. And, well, no, we won't berate you. Some of us will berate you. Rayhem will berate you if you do color bass or funk, I think. I don't know. Or trap. But I love listening to all kinds of different music, so feel free to send it right here, this little link right here. Anyway, let's hop in. Let's get this shit going. I'm freshly pissed and I'm ready to listen. Yep, that's the thing I said. Okay, what do we got? What do we got first up? I deleted it. Amps remix of Blue by AU5 and Fractal, but not finished and also not good. That is a very that's a very long and descriptive title. Let's have a listen. All right, let me stop this here for a sec. There's a lot of really cool sound design stuff happening. I feel like this camera's a little crooked. One sec. Is this? Of course. Haha, USB cords. One moment, please. I feel like, while the camera is coming back online, I kind of feel like the track is... Okay, why is the camera not working now? Seriously. I need to stop at a gas station and buy a new friggin' USB cable. I feel like the track is kind of like a demo of sound design. Let's keep while I figure out this camera shit. All right. So I guess my main concern is I think I made the camera worse actually, which is funny because now I have to be over here. I think my main concern is with the arrangement. It sounds like you're selling a sound design pack, and this is kind of like the demo track to show off all of the sound design. I have to fix this camera. I'll play the end of the track while fixing the camera. Yeah, so I guess my main concern is there's a lot of really cool sound design things and there's like lots of like super neat sounds happening, but I feel like the arrangement just isn't really carrying me through. Uh like okay, let's listen to the start. I'm not quite sure what my suggestion would be, but the arrangement just doesn't feel like a song. It feels like a demo reel of cool sound design. And maybe it's a matter of like picking one section that you consider like the main section and then build things up to that. Hit us with that section, break down and maybe recontextualize it with some different chords, build it back up and hit us with it again. I just kind of feel like it's a bit too out of pocket the entire time with all the cool shit. Like it's got more than enough cool shit happening. I think the next thing to do is to turn it into a song with some sort of arc and you know, building of anticipation, delivering, etc., etc. Lots of really cool sounds though. Mix sounds pretty good. There was a few spots where I found the sub bass was a bit maybe too low. Like right there, it looks like you are, well, maybe you're just not playing the sub there. It might just be too low pitch for me to really hear it. But anyway, overall, cool track. Mix is pretty good. Master's pretty good. The thing that is lacking, in my opinion, is that the arrangement doesn't captivate me or really tell a story. Just kind of sounds like it's like, hey, check out all these fucking cool sounds I made. All right. Thank you for sending, though. Very cool. And with some tweaks, I think it would be great. All right, let's move on. We got a Multi-Fox remix of AMGB. Don't know what that is. Let's have a listen. Oh, All My Good Bass. Okay, what genre would this be considered? And I know I'm fucking with the camera again. I'm just, oh man, I can't even like move it without it shitting out. Okay. Rave Music 2010. So right off the bat, I would probably take the reverb off of the bass because it really drives home that 2010 feel, like that kind of dated feel. Oh shit. Really love the amen breaks though. Oh fuck, that's cool. Like, I really liked this section. Or maybe it was this one. But I just think that having the reverb, it sounds like it's silly, right? And the original track's kind of silly too. I think that you can get away with like doing silly shit, but the reverb on the bass is just kind of making it feel not modern to me. I like that's that note. Should know this is my song. Okay, so that's a G, but but you're playing in C. So yeah, that's maybe a problem. Your track is in C, but the stab thing is in G. Yeah, so my suggestion would be to either tune the rave kind of stab thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 semitones down or 5 semitones up, and take the reverb off of the bass and see what it sounds like. I think it might sound a little bit more modern, but it's silly, it's fun, and I'm gonna sue you. Cool, let's move on. Thank you for sending. I always love hearing what you guys do with the stems I put on my Discord server. So feel free to I put all the stems, everything I release on the Discord server. Feel free to tear them apart and steal them, and I will probably sue you. All right, Adexi, Emerald Remastered. All right, let's stop it there. So this is all very cool and cinematic. I like it. My first thought was that the snare needs to be sidechained, or like the track needs to be sidechained to the snare, because the snare just kind of gets lost in the wall of sound. And also when it drops, it's very complex. There's a lot of shit happening. There's a lot of cool shit happening, but a lot of cool shit happening at the same time. Like there's a bunch of stuff, right? So maybe going through and selecting which elements to use at any given time, I think might be the way to solve that problem, because I just kind of feel overloaded with information when it drops. Okay, so that's a nice outro. I would maybe not let the piano go right to the, like, you could hear a bit of clipping on the piano. I like it. So my main concern with this is I only have two real, don't skip outro. Okay. All right. Okay, cool. I really do like the outro, and maybe this could be used in the middle in a breakdown section a bit more. Anyway, my two main thoughts are a bit too messy in the drops with too many elements all at the same time. And also the snare, instead of the snare punching me in the face, I feel like it's rubbing 80 grit sandpaper against my face. Like, listen to it and think about that. So that I think could be solved by figuring out the transients of the, like, if you're doing kick and snare at the same time, figuring out the transient situation and then side chaining things appropriately. I think during the first drop you were doing kick, snare, like you didn't have the kick hitting at the same time as the snare. Yeah, so I think those are my only two. It's a super cool track, very epic, very musical. I just wish the snare was a bit more punchy and less 80. 100 grit. We'll say 100 grit. I don't want to be that mean. But besides that, sounds dope. Mix sounds good. Master sounds good. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got for this one. Thanks for sending. That was dope. All right, we got Zmots 9 Mayhem Remade. Okay, let's go. Okay, this is weird, and I like weird, and I do like where this is going. I think the drum and bass loop is a bit it's a bit distorted, a bit too distorted, I think, especially because the snare, once again, that snare really doesn't have much punch to it. It's just kind of abrasive, like 100 grit sandpaper. I do like I like the grittiness of it, but I think it's just overdone to the point where it's a bit hard to listen to at volume because the drums are so distorted. And it's kind of those drums are kind of on top of everything. So even the wub 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 wub, it just doesn't cut through. The wubs don't cut through because we have this gigantic wall of 100 grit sandpaper rubbing our eardrums. There's also some like weird clipping or snipping, or like you can hear it every once in a while. This is really cool though. I think with some minor mixing adjustments, this could go pretty hard. Like, it's unique in its abrasiveness, and it's kind of unique in a lot of ways, which is great. I love hearing unique music. So I would try to maintain the grittiness of that drum, the drum and bass loop, maintain the grittiness without overbearing us with abrasiveness. So maybe it's just a matter of like pulling it back in volume, or like maybe dipping some of the higher mids in it or something like that. And then I'd probably layer a snare with it so that, let's see if this was made in FL Studio. Nope. Like, if there was a snare layer, if the drums were brought down and maybe a kick and snare were added there to give us the punchiness for the kick and the snare, and then have like this kind of lower volume, gritty drum loop going, I think that's the way to go. Yeah. Those are my thoughts. I think it's cool and unique and weird. And if the drums just came down a bit and you layered some more punchy kick and snares, boom. I think you're on to something much, much better. Also, this intro is probably too long because you're basically just playing like a mysterious sounding synth for a little while, and it's kind of not enough to keep your attention, right? So maybe shorten the intro or add some sound effects or, soundscapes and stuff like that. But yeah, very cool and unique. Thank you for sending. All right, let's move on. We got Vamori in the Cage.
I belong with the animal cages. Fuck on you basics, you and your girl need a facelift. I'm on that, I never break shit. Told you want it, come bring it, I'm waiting. Laugh at your feet with us, and they know who the leader is. Easy to crumble like me to miss milking myself. I don't need a bitch, one of them. So yo, that's it, don't see the kids. On my way, there's a movement, telling you it's in the city, this cruising. Now they wanna act sharp, even girls don't watch me. Why this fuck won't use me? Then again, you're making it. I belong with the animal cages. Both of you basics, you and your girl need a facelift. I'm on that, I never break shit. Told you want it, come bring it, I'm waiting. Laugh at your feet with us, and they know who the leader is. Easy to crumble like me to miss milking myself. I don't need a bitch, one of them. So yo, that's it, don't see the kids. On my way, there's a movement, telling you it's in the city, this cruising. Now they wanna act sharp, even girls don't watch me. Why this fuck won't use me? Then again, you're making it.
Okay, that was very hard, and I enjoyed it a lot. What are my thoughts? My thoughts are the snare could come through a bit more. I feel like the snare was a bit buried. I can hear that you're sidechaining to it, but not I just maybe it just needs to be a bit louder, or maybe you need to find like the thunk of it and boost it up a bit. It just isn't snapping me as hard as the rest of the track is like slapping me around, and the fucking snare is just kind of like standing back and watching, you know? So I think getting the snare up a bit. Now at the start here, I really had no fucking idea what the beat was doing. I'm sure if you watch this again, you will see the moment where I'm like, oh, I found the beat, you know? Whoa, there's the beat, you know?
I belong with the animal cages. Work on you basics. You and your girl need a facelift. I'm on that, I never break shit. Told you want it, come bring it, I'm waiting. Off at your feet with us, and they know that they know who the leader is.
And now listening back, now that I know what the tempo of the song is, I'm like, oh, I get it, that ta, 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 ta. But because he's kind of doing like this triplet flow and like, I don't know, maybe if you dial back like the overall volume, first of all, of this like, this intro section doesn't need to be as loud as the drop, you know? Like it can go hard without being full on fucking loud.
I belong with the animal cages. Work on you basics. You and your girl.
Now I kind of feel stupid for not being able to find that beat until like a minute into the song. But anyway, I would turn down this section and let the vocals really come through, because I don't know what he's saying.
I belong with the animal cages. Work on you basics. You and your girl need a facelift. I'm on that, I never break shit. Told you want it.
Like I can kind of pick up on some of the words, but it's just so balls to the wall that I can't really get into the lyrics or like the flow. Like I want to hear what he's saying because I'm sure it's badass, and I want to feel even more like a badass listening to it, right? There's no real reason to be this loud in this section.
So don't see the kids. On my way, there's a movement.
Like save that volume for the drop. Dial that intro back a bit, and let his flow come through, and maybe have a hi-hat or a percussion, something that's kind of keeping time a little bit, because I'm sure I was probably not the only one that couldn't find the beat until somewhere around this area, like a minute in.
Shit told you want it, come bring it, I'm waiting.
Just like maybe like a t, 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 you know, to keep the to just to make stupid people like me able to find the beat a little quicker. Besides that, sounds dope. Turn the snare up, make it smack me a bit harder. Dial back the parts with the rapping so we can hear him rap easier, and maybe have something a bit more stable, like rhythmically stable during those sections to allow us to like latch on and get the head nod going a little bit quicker and more accurately, because I was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what tempo this is. But yeah, super dope track, and I enjoyed it thoroughly. So thank you for sending, and I hope that that feedback helps. Okay, cool. Let's move on. We got Tesseracts searching for February 17th. Well, guess what? You fucking found it. It's right here, right now, all day long, baby.
rebound.
That was sick. I don't really have many notes. I think my one note is that like these like breakdown sections, they don't have much of a melody. They kind of have like that arpeggio dum 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 that. And I feel like I hear like a more sustained, if I just play some shit on the keyboard, like let me try this. Like a more sustained, almost like a counter melody. Like that sort of shit. I feel like there's lots of room for like, and I think that that will give it more identity during those sections because it sounds sick, but it also just kind of sounds like you are like we're missing part of the story, right? And having like a more sustained melody to play off of all those sounds that are happening in those sections, I think would really set that off. It sounds dope though. Like it sounds sick. That's basically my only real thought was that melody would be superfluous. All right. I mean, sure. You guys can disagree with me, but you're fucking wrong. So anyway, that's my thought. Vamori disagrees, so really take it with a grain of salt, whatever you think. I didn't really have any other issues with the track. It sounds dope as always. Thank you for sending. All right, let's have a listen to what Swiss Cheese has done. Updated again song. Updated again song. We're about to listen to the Updated Again song. Dude, I could hear like a rapper going hard on this. It kind of reminds me of that Damn It Feels Good to Be a Gangster song. Okay, those strings are, I think, way too loud. Let me turn off my mastering effect. Yeah, they're way too loud, and they are, I don't know why you would pan them to the right like that. It's kind of weird. Don't pan stuff like that, I don't think, in my opinion. Too loud, and just keep it centered. But like it could be stereo, but don't just like put it over to the right for no reason. Let me see if I have like a rap vocal to throw over top of it. What is the tempo, Swiss? Let me know. All right, 90 beats per minute.
They eyes like true lies, kill them just remainers.
I don't know what tempo this one is. I just have a random YouTube rip acapella.
Today's agenda, got the suitcase up in the central. Go to room 112, tell them Blanco sent you. Feel the strangers, if no money exchanges. I got these kids in ranges to leave them niggas brainless. All they told is stainless, you just remainers. Calm as possible, make the deal go through. If not, here's 12 shots, we know how you do. Please make your killings clean, sluts up in between. They eyes like true lies, kill them and flee the scene. Just bring back the coke or the cream, or else your life is on the shelf. We mean this, Frank. The cats we fucking with put bombs in your mom's gas tank. Let's get this money, baby. They shady, we get shady. Dress up like ladies and burn them in dirty 380s. Then they come to kill our babies. That's all out. I got gats that blow the wall out. Clear them all out. Fuck the fallout. Word to stretch, I bet they pussy. The 7 digits push me. Fucking real. Here's the deal. I got 100 bricks, 14.5 a piece. Enough to cop 6, buy the house on the beach. Supply the peeps with jeeps, brick a piece. Capiche? Everybody getting cream, no one considered the leech. Think about it now, that's damn near 1.5. I kill them all.
What is the tempo of Notorious B.I.G. 3 Bricks?
According to last.fm,
159 beats per minute. So that seems wrong to me.
you ever feel like humming along to a tune?
It sounds wrong. Maybe it's, well, so what's half? That's 80 beats per minute. So let's do fit to tempo. I'm going to type in 80 beats per minute. Let's see if it sounds a bit tighter. I mean, like, it sounded surprisingly good. I have no idea why or how, but it did.
Got the suitcase up in the central. Go to room 112, tell them Blanco sent you. Feel the strangers, if no money exchanges. I got these kids in ranges to leave them niggas brainless. All they told is stainless, you just remainers. Calm as possible, make the deal go through. If not, here's 12 shots, we know how you do. Please make your killings clean, slugs up in between. Their eyes like true lies, kill them and flee the scene. Just bring back the coke or the cream, or else your life is on the shelf. We mean this, Frank. The cats we fucking with put bombs in your mom's gas tank. Let's get
Drag had the pillow cuff, looking at me and Frank. Her grill was rough. Who would ever think she'd ride to do what's up? But that's the business.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, this goes hard. This is like one of those tracks that it shouldn't go as hard as it does, but it does.
Looking at me. If I go, they got to go. Niggas got to die. Let 100 shots float. Niggas got to die.
All right, a few too many N-bombs for a boy as white as myself, but anyway. Cool. My thoughts. The real only thought I have on the track is like, those strings are too overbearingly loud and panned. Besides that, this is dope. Like, seriously, find a rapper and be like, hey, you want to go rapping on this? You know? Like, imagine somebody singing about some real hard shit, or like rapping about some real hard shit over this. Anyway, I think it's dope. Turn down the strings and don't pan random things randomly. That usually is a recipe for me feeling like I'm perpetually spinning in a circle. Cool. Thank you for sending. That was fun. I'm going to reset all this mastering shit before I forget and ruin somebody else's song. Bloop, bloop, and bloop. All right. Okay, what's up next? Stonebank. Wow, I can't believe Stonebank submitted to the... Oh, never mind. Just joking. Stonebank, Never Looking Back, Grabatiaz remix. I don't know how to say that. Let's go. Okay, this is sick. I find that the sub bass is kind of overbearing everything. Especially like I can barely even hear the clap or snare or whatever is there. Like I think the snare could come up a bit, and I think overall everything just kind of feels underneath the bass or like underneath the bass frequencies. There's some rumbling happening in the sub bass. Listen back here. I would solo all of the elements that have a sub bass like component to it. So your bass and your kick for sure. And then if there's any other basses or anything else that contributes to that very bottom end, and make sure that there's not any weird phasing stuff. Because sometimes the sub kind of pokes out at me and then pulls back. Like it doesn't feel as solid as I think it should. And there could be some phase cancellation happening between, maybe it's even like the tail of your kick playing with the bass coming up, and maybe there's some interaction. I'm not quite sure, but there's like the bottom end gets loud and gets quiet, loud, quiet. Like certain notes that are being hit seem to stick out above other notes, and that's usually an indication that you've got some phase cancellation or some phase interaction between different elements down there. Especially like, okay, so your kick drum with this style of music has a note, and it's the root of the song. And this is kind of a tough problem to solve because you're moving around. Like here, you're playing a different note. But the kick drum is still hitting that root note, but you've moved to a different note in the scale. I don't know how to solve that because I don't make hardstyle or whatever the genre of this is, where the kick drum is such a, it's almost like a bass note in itself. Do you tune the kick drum to move with the song? I don't have the answers, but that it's something to think about, you know, like how, because you're moving around the scale, you're playing different notes and you're doing kind of like a chord progression, but the kick drum is constantly banging the root note, whatever the root note is of the song. And maybe it's not a problem, but it's something to keep in mind and be aware of. Yeah, so I still think that the sub range is it's a bit overbearing because there's some cool sound design shit that I'm hearing, but I have to listen for it. It's not like very obvious because I'm just kind of hearing womp 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 of the sub range. Like that right there. That's a sick sound design bass. But it sounds like an afterthought because of the way that it's mixed. It's kind of underneath everything. And my notes are not like, it's not like way off. I just think it could be improved by bringing the sub bass down, or maybe like I like to do, and I say this a lot on stream, I like to like compartmentalize the mixing process. So maybe just take all of your thicker bassy sounds and mute everything else and just get all those things working together in a good way, and then do the same for like the percussion and the top drums and stuff like that, and then bring them together and where it's a little easier than looking at the whole mix and saying, holy fuck, I gotta make all this sound good. Like you like get certain sections, get the kick and the bass sounding right, get the top drums and the snare or clap sounding right, bring the kick and the top drums together, make them sound right, then bring everything together, and bussing and stuff can help with that too. But it's definitely it's a really good track. It sounds very good. I just think that the sub bass is a little overbearing, and there are certain parts where I feel like you might have some sub bass separation issues. But besides that, very cool. Thank you for sending. All right, we got Shed Erin, Bad Habits Grim Remix. Okay, here we go.
Every time you come around, you know I can't say no. Every time the sun goes down, I let you take control. I can feel the paradise before my world ends. And tonight had something wonderful. But bad habits lead to late nights and then alone conversations with a stranger I better know. Swearing this will be the last, but it probably won't. I got nothing left to lose, or you, or do my bad habits lead to.
I kind of feel like there's it almost feels like there's a film over. Did I just say film like an old lady? Feels like there's a film over the whole mix. Like the top end is kind of lacking. Yeah, I really like I like the chords. I like the kind of the synth wavy kind of. Yeah, that all sounds dope. There's just kind of like it's just missing top. It's missing the top end almost. Like I just added 6 dB and it doesn't sound too bright, you know? Yeah, so that's I think that like I really like what's happening. It sounds like a really good remix. It just the top end's missing, and I think that the kick drum is almost like it's minuscule. I also feel like the vocals, and maybe this is because they're probably like a YouTube rip or something. They're very muddy, like they're kind of biased down in the lower regions, the like the 300 hertz area. They could be a bit brighter and thinned out in that area. Yeah, I know what you mean in the second drop, but now all of a sudden the kind of the processing that I put on the mastered is too bright, you know, because that plucky thing is coming in real hot. Overall, I feel like the track is a bit too dynamic in a lot of ways. Like those plucks are very peaky, but then they come down real quick. Like especially you can hear it when so it goes dun 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 dun, and when that dun dun hits without the side chaining, wow, that synth is very loud. Like listen to the volume of the synth and then listen to it when I look like Donald Trump. Listen to the bottom of the synth. Anyway, see how much louder. Bye, Graham. Yeah, I feel like maybe there's an adjustment to be made on the side chain. I don't know. I think it just needs you just need to keep going on the mix. It's a little bit dull in the top end, and I feel like it's a bit too dynamic. That's why I went for the limiter to bring it down a bit. But you can see that the limiter is reacting mostly to the synth and not the kick drum. So I would say that's a pretty good indication that synth is a bit too loud. Anyway, very cool. Those are my thoughts. I hope it helps. Have fun at work. Thank you for setting. Okay, let's move on to Mr. Rayham himself. Don't hold back. Berate him with all you've got. Let's have a listen. there's not, I mean, it's bypassed, so I don't really know. Like, I'll just, here, I'll turn off the whole. This is all of the effects in the master bus are bypassed, like that little like effect button I've turned off, which shouldn't matter.
Be alone again.
It's really dope though. Like this track is really good, honestly. Where are the vocals from? Yeah, this is really strong, man. I don't know why you don't fucking put music out. Like, you could just put this out and it would be a great track. Right here, you know, obviously this feels unfinished. Like, maybe there's something you could put in there for vocals. I'm not really sure. I do feel like it is a bit wide, and it almost has like, I was wondering the same thing. Did I leave something on the master bus? Because it kind of felt, it felt like it had that same kind of film on the top end. And maybe that's a side effect of like, are you widening shit? I'm not sure. I like the width of the vocals, but I think they should be more anchored in the center with the width behind. You know what I mean? Yes, I'm gonna get to whatever this is. I feel like you've hidden something in the spectrogram, but that's yeah. I feel like this halftime part could be half as long because it kind of feels like it's dragging. I liked like the switch up and then the fake out and then back to the full time, but I feel like maybe half as long. Called it. Yeah, the way it works, whoever asked, I forget already. The feedback will fuck, I can't talk. The feedback thread for next week will open once this stream is done and you can start throwing your tracks in. I mean, we could probably just open it now, Rayhem, if you're in Discord. We could just open it now. I really think that this has a lot of potential, man. I think you should finish it. I don't know what that means. I really like the vocals on it, but it sounds like we need maybe more, which is kind of hard because I'm assuming there isn't more to that vocal. But like, there's these sections, This is going to be tough because now you're going to have to either chop up what you got here in a way that's hopefully not overusing the limited amount of vocals, or maybe there's more vocals in the pack, or you find a singer and you write the rest of the song and you kind of use this as inspiration for whatever the singer's going to do. I mean, the real magic is the song itself. It's not, if you replace those vocals with something else, as long as the vocals were good, it's still going to be fucking banging. But yeah, I don't really have any I don't have any negative thoughts, really. Yeah, go find a vocalist. Go find a vocalist on the street, or on the internet. There are so many people that can sing, you know, and so many people that would love to be on a track like this. I added a vocalist role in Discord. Maybe we should do like a call out and see where all the vocalists are. Cause I think we're getting up close to 2,000 people in the Discord server. There's gotta be some vocalists in there. And they're probably like, wow, I wish I knew some producers that could make good music, you know? And then the producers that can make good music are like, I wish I knew where the vocalists were. So maybe we could do some sort of like Tinder thing for singing. I don't know. Yeah. Those are my thoughts. Get a vocalist and put out more music. You have so many good tracks. Why the fuck are they not out on the internet? You're making artwork for me. Make artwork for you and fucking put it out, you know? Jesus Christ, I get so angry. Okay, let's move on. Thank you, Rayham, for sending. All right, we got Ragestone, Dementros, Ocean Planet Pre-Final. Wow, this sounds very scientific. Let's have a listen.
This PDA has now rebooted in emergency mode with one directive: to keep you alive on an alien world. Running full environment diagnostic and outputting results to databank. Oxygen nitrogen atmosphere. Water contamination high. It may be prudent to separate work communications offline. Ocean Planet. Endorphin levels low. Consider taking a seat and meditating. It may help to remember that problems exist only where you choose to see them.
Okay, where was this shit at the start of the track? This is dope. I really like this section. I think that should be at the start. I also, now that I've stopped the track, I think that the dialogue is really cool, but it gets lost in the mix when you kind of go to this section.
Full environment diagnostic and out.
Because now all of a sudden I hear the tones of the dialogue, but I can't really understand the words too much. Anyway, let's go back to the two-step part.
Creature discovered.
Warning, oxygen. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm not usually a big fan of color bass, but I think that this kind of straddles the line between the different genres, and I liked it. I really liked that two-step part a lot. Like, that was fucking groovy as shit. My only real thoughts are probably that the dialogue gets lost in that mix section, and also I don't know. I had this thought, and then I'm trying to think. Well, I don't really like color bass that much, so maybe that's why I was thinking it. But this section right here, like I don't know. I didn't really enjoy that section. But then when it finally, like, what would it sound like if I don't know, I'm just gonna roughly cut this.
New creature discovered.
Like, what if this happens? I don't know. Maybe it'll work, maybe it wouldn't work. But we're gonna find out. Let's see what that would sound like.
New creature discovered.
I don't know. Maybe it is. Like, maybe it was the fact that it did it twice. Maybe that's what I didn't like about it, because it's kind of like holding us in anticipation with that higher bass note. Bum, 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 bum. Maybe I felt like you were leading me on or something. I don't know. Take it with a grain of salt, because I'm not a huge fan of that genre. Just I kind of feel like a boomer when I listen to it. So yeah, besides that, dope track. I like it. All right, we got Overdose and Kazakhstan. Do they ever work separate? Who knows? Featuring Medike. Alive, need help, vocal advice. Okay, let's have a go.
Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your time. You said I'll be okay with the war inside my mind.
Okay, so right off the bat, the vocals almost sound like they have reverb on them and then got compressed a lot. Like I
Thank you for your patience.
Like, you can hear like the reverb trying its hardest to cut through, and any chance that vocal dips down in volume, the reverb's right there. It's like, oh, I'm here, you know? So I'm not quite sure. Maybe you can explain to me a little bit more about the vocals, where they came from, how they were recorded, what, maybe you don't have dry vocals, maybe they have a bunch of reverb on them. Just tell me, while I'm listening, tell me a bit more about the vocals.
You loved me through the pain, and they left me there to die. And you told me you would stay, and you held me with the fight. And I was so close to giving up. You told me.
So I would get like, the vocals sound great, the performance sounds great, but the compression and the reverb, unless you're going, yes, you need to get intro vocals dry. That's kind of where I was going. But unless you're going for some sort of like effect, you almost never put reverb before aggressive compression, because it really emphasizes what the compressor is doing. You can really hear like the gain reduction. You can hear it pumping up and down. So to me, the vocals, you need to get dry, and then
You loved me through the pain, and they left me.
see you, Doofy. Good luck with that.
Hard alone.
Definitely doesn't have to be that wet, but also I think it sounds wetter than it actually is because of the compression. I'm assuming there's quite a bit of compression on it, just based on what the reverb's doing. Also, they're kind of like heavy in the low mids, like that. I'd probably dip.
Thank you for your patience.
Sorry, I'm on the side channel. I always do that.
Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, and maybe too with the reverb, I would maybe shape the reverb to not have as much low end in the reverb because it's kind of they're kind of muddy, but they sound good. They like the performance, the singing, everything sounds good.
Told me I'm enough, and you showed me how to love, to love. You're the reason I'm alive. You made me feel alive, alive. You're the reason I'm alive. You made me feel alive.
Okay, so I like the drop, sounds good.
You walk me through.
Yeah, that's what I do think there's too much low mids in the bottom end, or sorry, low mids in the vocals. But it's hard to say until you get those dry vocals. Until you get the dry vocals, you're not going to be able to really mix it properly because I feel like they're quite wet and you're going to be trying to compress them and get them to fit into the mix, but now you're fighting with the reverb and the compression. So get dry vocals.
When I feel you held me high above, above. So dark you made it bright. You were the only one. Show me that I desire love, love. When I was so close to giving up, you told me I'm enough, and you showed me how to love. To love.
Okay, so I do have a suggestion, but it might be a little bit outside of your price range. But the Isotopes RX series of products, there's like some mouth smacks and stuff in here.
So giving up.
Like after the p on up, like after the P, you can kind of hear like a.
You told me I'm enough, and you
And I have RX7. I think there's like RX10 now. But anyway, it can go through and like subtract those things. It just like magically gets rid of them and makes your vocal sound a bit more professional, I guess, because you usually don't want to hear mouth noises. It's called RX7, but like their line of products is RX, and it's like audio repair. It does all kinds of shit, like really cool shit. But I think I spent like $700 on it years ago, and I almost only use it for declicking mouth noises. So pretty expensive mouth declicker, but anyway. The drop is maybe, I don't know. I'm not good at this genre of music, but the drop is maybe a little bit over, like information overload, like a lot of stuff, like, whoa, there's a lot here, I don't really know how to solve that though. It's definitely a cool track though. I think really the next step is just, hey, can you get me those vocals dry? Or if he wants to have compression or whatever on them, that's fine. But it's really like delay and reverb. You can't subtract that off. So you got to get it without that and then put your own reverb and delay after you've processed them in a way that fits them in the mix, if you know what I mean. But yeah, it sounds great. It was very musical and good. All right, let's move on. We got I keep doing that. What is No Quilt? Duke Gray Real Pika people, different MP3. Man, I feel like I had a stroke reading that, and it's more of like a me thing than a you thing. Okay. I just want to say right off the bat that I probably fucked up and sent to 128 MP3. Let me see. You can certainly send if you want. I'll skip you for now. Yeah, it is 128. Okay, I'll skip you from now. Send it. And we'll come back to it. All right, we're gonna get Netfelix Believe Remix version 6, original by Aaron Show, 17th of February. Let's go.
Don't you think like that? I will love you endlessly. If you'd only believe in me. Don't you be like that? I will love you forever. If you'd only believe in me. Yeah. Believe in me. I will love you endlessly. I will love you endlessly. If you'd only believe in
What if this was like a two-step part, like that other track, the boom, that might be a cool groove for this section. The only real problem I have with this is like the vocal quality, because I'm sure it's some sort of rip off of something. It kind of is a bit abrasive, like especially here.
believe in me. Don't you be like that? I will love you forever.
It's not like terrible, but I feel like there's just some, it's just kind of messy up in the top end, you know?
If you'd only believe in me. I will love you endlessly. If you'd only believe in me. I will love you believe in me. If you'd only
So, yeah, this is really cool. I don't remember what my thoughts were last week, because I think you sent the same one last week. But I think that's a good thing, because I don't really have any issues with it. It's so dirty. Like, it's so dirty. Yeah, it sounds really good. How long is it? I feel like the drop sections are so good, but it's just like maybe not enough of it. I feel like I was just getting into it and then the track ended. Because the drop sections are definitely my favorite bits. And I understand that, like, you know, the breakdowns and these other sections are necessary and whatnot. I'm not just suggesting this should just be a big drop the entire time, but maybe like have a part 3 to this last drop so that we can really just sink our teeth into it a little bit better, you know? Yes, I am the actual Fowler, I guess. It's weird to say, but anyway. Yeah, okay. Those are my thoughts. Sounds good. I think you did a really good job since last week, so well done on that. Let's move on. We got the 320 MP3 for this one, so let's have a listen. It's pronounced no cult. Okay, no worries. I thought quilt. I don't know why, but anyway, it's good to know. Okay, so we got no quilt, Duke Gray, real Topeka people. Topeka? Topica? I don't know.
We going different paths, different ways. We live in different worlds with different names, and nothing feel right to me. With you so far away, and me in pain. We playing different tricks, different games. I'm like an animal you can't tame. It's only one more night without you. I'm talking to my dream till the memory fades. As you walk alone through the valley of light, your vision and your soul corrupted with time and the promises. You up all night, no reason to look back. There is no wrong or right. They told you no, they let you down. Keep your head up. You give me reason to frown. My body is numb. Never thought it's gonna be you, but I feel you in my veins, 'cause my heart can't escape the truth. And you walk alone. The power is alone. You need to carry on till the break of dawn. There was no wrong or right.
All right, so that drum and bass part was unexpected and like it sounded really good. It's definitely, that part's sick. I had some issues with this. Sounds very, very wide and very, very like mid-rangey. And I don't know if there's some imaging happening, because when I listen to and I close my eyes and I imagine the stereo field, I feel like there's nothing in front of me. I feel like all of the stuff is kind of pushed like width-wise. So I think that you're maybe not making the most out of the real estate that's given to you in terms of the stereo width. It feels like everything is kind of here. There's also kind of like an arpeggio kind of going. I think it's like, I don't know. It's kind of in the background. It's not really adding anything. It's just kind of like a noise in an already noisy part, because those guitars are very noisy. You know, they're very mid-range, white, almost white noise. If anything, I get to this drum and bass part a lot sooner. Isn't all music just noise? Maybe it's not the music, but the friends you met along the way. When in Rome.
We going different paths, different ways. We live in different worlds with different names, and nothing feel right to me with you so far away.
Yeah, I would say get to the drum and bass section a lot faster.
There was no wrong or right.
Because it's sick. All right, let's keep going. It also kind of, no, I'm not going to say it. It reminds me of something, but I don't want to say it because I don't want to put it in your head.
There was no wrong or right.
Okay, I'm going to say it.
We going different.
I'm going to take my horse to the old town road. I'm going to...
We going different paths, different ways. We live in different worlds with different names.
That's what it reminded me of. I feel like the snare, if you listen to some like good neuro funk, I think the snare is kind of almost there, but it's a little too boxy or something. It like, I think the snare could be a bit better. It's not bad, but I think it could be better. That's what I think. And I'm sorry, I didn't want to say it. I wasn't going to say it. Yeah, Midwest. Yeah, I mean, it definitely sounds like rock, like Southern rock kind of. But anyway, it's very cool. It's very cool. And I would get to the drum and bass parts sooner and try to, like Raham said, it feels disjointed. And I agree with him. Like, it's so pristine and sharp sounding and everything, you know, when the drum and bass stuff happens. But the parts leading up to it are kind of like gray almost, in a sense. Like they're very mid-range. They're guitars. It doesn't have that same edge to it. So maybe try to sort out how to blend those styles a little bit better, I think is the soup du jour. I don't know if that makes any sense. All right. Very cool though. Thanks for sending. Where are we at? We're at Nemkai. School collab. All right. Let's hear it. Wait, did you just substitute a snare in place of a kick? I don't necessarily dislike it, but that's Okay, wait.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
What would it sound like during some of the sections if you got rid of the pads that are playing like the chords and it was just like drums and bass, you know? I don't know about that snare kick drum thing. It's kind of throwing me off, to be honest. This would go so hard slowed and reverbed. How much are we slowing it? I was wrong. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Nope, that's just the actual tempo now. That fucked me up.
Yeah.
I think that you need to give us some variety in the sound design. The seven semitone bass thing is a bit overused, I think, in this situation. But if you somehow created a kind of a calm response with a different sounding bass or something, I think that would be sick. Because that part in itself is great. It's the whole song, you know what I mean? Like the whole song is da na 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 na. So yeah. There's a lot of good stuff happening. I think it just needs more variety. I think that's the doctor's orders for this one. More variety, both in the sound design, but also maybe in... You did give us some variety here. Like, that was a welcome change. That's how you can tell that a little bit of variety is going to go a long way with this track, because this section sounded really good. It gave us a break from the normal chord progression, or bass progression, I guess. So yeah, more variety, but overall sounds good. Mix sounds good. Master sounds good. I think it's fun. It's happy. It makes me want to race go-karts. All right, let's move on. Thank you for sending. We got Coder B5, Something Chill. Something Chill, 180 beats per minute. Okay.
Oh my God, am I out of luck? Yeah, tried to stop, but couldn't get enough. In the deep end, trying to keep my head above the water, sinking down. Guess I should have heeded the warning. Guess I should have moved, and that's all I knew. But I'd rather be in a storm than in a calm without you. Don't know how I'll feel in the morning. Maybe you'll be leaving me sad and blue. But I'd rather be in a storm than in a calm without you. Oh my God.
Okay, I'm going to stop it here for a sec. Yeah, Rapture, send your demo over. We'll have a listen. Now, this isn't a representation of what it sounds like, but the waveform kind of looks like the ideal shit, you know, that you could have. Like, it's rounded on both ends, you know, it's nice and uniform. So not necessarily feedback on how it sounds, but how it looks on my screen. So good job on that. It's very chill. I enjoy that. I think the vocals could come up a bit. They're a bit in the mix. Okay, the next thing is, I can't send it in the chat anymore. Just put it in the production feedback. I don't know. Raham, deal with it and then send it to me. So you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot a little bit because you're playing B. Okay, I take it back. It's not necessarily key. I think maybe the sub bass just isn't loud enough. Because when I'm playing along with it on the keyboard, it sounds better just having louder sub bass. You know what I mean? So that's my main feedback. It's a bit too gentle in terms of the master, you know, hence the ideal poop shape. Obviously, this isn't the type of track you want to slam, but there's just kind of like free headroom that you don't really need to sacrifice anything for. And then obviously, I think just your sub bass or your bass could just come up quite a bit. Like, let's just I can't just turn the sub range up because the kick will be too loud, but I'll try to compress the bottom end a little bit. Let's have a listen. I guess you can't see what I'm doing. See, like I added 7.5 dB to the sub range and it sounds good. So that tells you have a lot of range left going, like down in the bottom end. And maybe at some point during this, like have the drums drop out and just have like the kind of the ambient chords and the vocal, and then bring the drums back in. I think that would be sick because we kind of get this beat and the beat just goes the rest of the time, right? Until the end, I'm assuming. And the beat's great, but it kind of just fades into the background because it's there the whole time. So maybe pull it out. Maybe there's a certain section of the vocals that's really meaningful or something. Pull the beat out, let them kind of really shine, and then bring the beat back so that we can enjoy the beat again. All right, very cool though, very cool and chill. And I am surprised that 180 beats per minute. I mean, I know it's not 100, it's like 90 beats per minute, but anyway, very cool. Thank you for sending. All right, let's check out Raptures. Downloading. All right, Raptures, I've downloaded it. If you want to delete it or whatever, not necessary, but if you want to. Okay, let's have a listen. Okay, bypass. Okay, here we go. It's called Darkness. Wow. I can read, I promise.
She's hurting, she's crying, she's dead in the dark without a cry. Don't not dare catch you lying, switching sides all the time. I mean, no, I'ma need my time back, back, back. I never know if I'll try back. It's dark and it's haunting. This battle in my mind isn't what I want. It's dark and it's haunting.
All right, this sounds sick so far. The snare here is like super wide and it's a bit distracting. Like I think it's drawing too much attention to itself because it's a cool sounding snare, but it is a snare and I should be paying attention to the vocals. So I think maybe having them a bit less wide and like exciting at this point is the move. Okay, let's continue.
It's dark and it's haunting. This battle in my mind isn't what I wanted. It's dark and it's haunting. This battle in my mind isn't what I wanted. Sacrifice myself for you. I just wanted the truth. It's dark and it's haunting. This battle in my mind isn't what I wanted.
Okay, that was nuts. That was like, I felt like a fucking tiny ninja man was running around slicing me with a tiny sword, a drum and bass sword. Very cool. I was super thankful for that snare because it's so wonky and fucking clunky and shit. It's cool. Without that fucking snare just hitting the same time every time, I'd be like, whoa, you know, like I'd be like, what the fuck is happening? But because I have that snare to anchor me, I can really enjoy the wonkiness. I did find the vocals got a little lost in the mix back here. Like, I think they're loud enough, but I think there's so much harmonically rich sounds, like those respaces and stuff, that they're kind of getting in the way of understanding the words. Like, they're not super intelligible. I just want to lay with you, maybe? I just I really don't have any I don't have any issues with the drop at all. It sounds fucking dope. My only real issue was like that snare being too wide. The problem is the vocalist sent me one single file, not the stem, still waiting. Oh, okay. Yeah, I would say like the trick with this is going to be to still maintain like all your cool texture shit building up, but still have the vocals clear enough for me to understand the words. I feel like, yeah, there's a lot of layers there, and I feel like there might be like a little altar boy layer that's down an octave that might be adding to the problem more than helping. Like, I think that, because when you think, I have this problem when I try to do little altar boy stuff, because whenever there's an S sound, the S sound gets put down an octave, and it's like, and then you have like sh and sh at the same time, and it's kind of, it messes up understanding what the words are. So once you get maybe like the separated vocals or the dry vocals or whatever, it adds the weird. Yeah, you know what I do to fucking avoid that? It's so stupid, man. I don't understand it. It's such a pet peeve of mine that plugin just randomly, it'll be like centered and then it'll just be like, no, I'm wide now. It's like, okay, I guess you're wide now. Like, what the fuck? So what I do is I use FL obviously, and I send it to I think it's called like stereo utility or stereo enhancer, and I just pick the left channel and I discard the right channel and put it down the center, and then that solves that. But it's so fucking weird how it does that. Like, why? It just kind of, it sounds fine, and then all of a sudden it's just like, whoa, and then it goes back to mono, and I'm like, what the fuck are you even doing? So anyway, that's my trick to get rid of that, is to just pull one side, like left or right, and pan that to the center, and then do all your shit after that. And then that way, if it's doing weird phase shit, you don't get the phase shit because you don't have the other channel to like correlate it to. Anyway, that's my tip of the day for Little Altar Boy. Imagine I had a segment that was just like dedicated to Little Altar Boy tips of the day. As much. Yeah, Kaya, that's funny, and you're right. All right, let's continue. I don't think we heard the full drop, so I'll back it up a bit. I would, if you're gonna have the vocals here, I'd pull back some of the elements, because again, I find I'm struggling to hear what she's saying. And you know, this is like the typical producer struggle when you were like sound design, you love like sound design and shit like that. It's always hard to like sacrifice the sound design for the vocals. But I really do think that if you're going to put vocals in a track, everything should be sacrificed if it needs to be for the vocals, because they're by far the most important part. Yeah, I mean, like there's a lot of stuff happening. There's like little zips and zaps. The snare's quite loud. There's like Reese basses doing things. It's really busy, and then you have the vocals also busy because they're saying a bunch of words and they're delivering a bunch of lyrics, right? So it's like it's information overload. But yeah, that besides that, it sounds fucking dope, man. I don't know who you are, but I am impressed with this, and I'm glad that you decided to join the stream today because this is a fucking sick track, and I look forward to hearing it once you take it further. I'm hoping it's going to be longer than 1:53 and have more than one drop. I would say tune in next week and send more next week, just because normally I don't even play tracks during the stream like we did like this because it just takes too long and I end up being here till like 8 p.m. But yes, please join us next stream. We'll check out some more stuff and that would be cool. The stream is usually about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. We're coming up on the 2-hour mark now. Yeah, that's typical. Yeah, 2.5, sometimes like 3 hours. Sometimes I go off on tangents, but anyway. All right, where were we? We got okay, we got Ice Cab or Ice Cab, right? I can't remember. The problem is the stream starts at 4 a.m. Yeah, that's rough, man. But the streams are recorded on YouTube, so if you do send stuff during the week and you want to hear our thoughts on it, you can always go and watch the video afterwards. And you can usually see kind of like the list of titles over here, so you can kind of skip through and find your track. Anyway, let's keep going. We got Ice Kyab. Now the waveform seems like a bad poop on the toilet. You poop on the toilet? All right, let's there's a lot of headroom. Let's have a listen. Man, shower poops are the best, honestly. Okay, so there's not enough happening to capture my attention. Like, I feel like out of all of the elements that you have presented us in the first 45 seconds of this track, probably takes up about like, I don't know, maybe it's worth 20 seconds. The rest is kind of, it just drags on a bit. I like what's going on, but I'm anxious to hear what's going to happen because it's very, very basic for too long. So yeah, I would say the pacing is a bit like it's a slow song, and that's okay. Songs don't have to be fast, but the pacing just doesn't really carry my attention, like there's not enough happening for me to just sit here and listen. I feel like I need to skip forward. And that's a good indication that like there's not enough happening to keep somebody's attention, keep the listener's attention, unless it's like for the background of a mobile game, maybe. In terms of like the mix, like it's very quiet, like very, very quiet. Like I'm pulling this way down just to get it to a reasonable level. It's definitely very jazzy, like for sure jazz. This is definitely like 1950s gangster in a club drinking whiskey during Prohibition. Yeah, I think overall you've got like a good basis for like a jazz version of this Geometry Dash song, but there's just it's too basic. Like you need to keep going and give us more interesting stuff throughout. It just sounds like it's just kind of looping, and then you give us like a slightly different loop, and then there's a different loop, and then there's a different loop, and then there's a different loop. So some more wrong notes to be jazz. But yeah, it's a good basis, and I like the way it sounds. It definitely sounds like I'm in a dark, dingy 1950s club as a gangster, but keep going, add variety, build an arrangement out of it. Build it up, break it down, etc., etc. But very cool. Okay. We got Cat Attack. Death drives a Passat. That's fucking dope. I didn't know that. Let's go.
You have any recollection of what happened to you?
No, not really. I was.
Open up the pit. That was cool. I think, okay. Let me form these into cohesive words. My only concern is that there were some sections of the piano performance that felt very clicked in, we'll say, very rigid, both in velocity, timing, feel, especially towards the end here. Dun dun da 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 dun 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 dun. Like when the notes hit at the same time, that's not how piano players play, right? Like they kind of hit at slightly different times. So I think to go through and kind of humanize it and add in some variations. There were some, like towards the end here. That was super cool, but just overall, the notes should be they're not convincing enough to sound like a real penis playing it. You know what I'm saying? So that would be my my only thought. This section right here kind of was maybe twice as long as it should be. I kind of got a little bit bored waiting for this section. So yeah, make it sound like a real penis, and then get somebody to make a movie around it, and then you're golden. Cool. Thanks for sending, Kat. That was dope. All right, Bleed Mercy. Have mercy on my ears. Let's go. Okay, very cool so far. I could not understand one single word in the vocals. I did not understand a single word he said. And maybe that's okay, but I just want to let you know the effect on them is cool. It sounds cool. Maybe you need to do some like parallel processing where you still get that effect, but like some of the dry-ish vocals cut through so that we can hear the words. I want to hear words. I don't know, maybe I'm old-fat. Call me old-fashioned. Call me a boomer, but I want to understand the words. Let's keep going. Oh, and also it's SimSpeak. Like the game Sims? It's actually? Okay, well then disregard what I said. I like this drop. I think that you need to, maybe at the end of every bar or something, you have to have like a different bass sound to do like a call and response with it. Cause to me, it's kind of chugging along with the same bass sound too long. You know, like blah or something at the end and then back to it. That would be cool. Also, there's one bass sound that sounds a little quieter and less intense. Yeah, that one. it's like it sounds quieter and weaker and not as distorted or bright or something in a kind of a weird way. Like I think just turning it up and maybe like distorting it a bit more or adding some top end might make it fit better with the other basses, because the other basses are like whoa, and then this one bass is a little bit timid, and then it goes back to the whoa basses. So maybe try something like that. Let's keep going. Okay, cool. So these are my thoughts, the previous thoughts or whatever. Yeah, but also I feel like you have a bunch of ideas here and they're just kind of like laid out. Like they're just like, here are a bunch of my thoughts, you know, here are a bunch of my ideas. I think what you got to do is take some inventory, figure out what's what, you know, like I feel like the track started and you just kept delivering new ideas, new ideas, new ideas, new ideas. And it never really came back to something familiar. Like there was no going back to a verse, going to a chorus, going to a drop. Like it was just kind of, it was almost like you started here and you ended here, as opposed to doing more of an interesting arrangement. So I think going and arranging the track with all of these assets that you've created and make a song a little bit more typical arrangement would be good. And also during this guitar part, you have this really thick, deep sub bass, and then you have this kind of thin guitar, and there's nothing in the middle. Like the guitar kind of drops off like around, you know, maybe 500 hertz or something. There's not a whole lot of in between the sub bass and the guitar, and that makes them feel very disconnected. So maybe tune the guitar, like add a layer of octave down guitar, or maybe boost up some of the low mids, but try to get the guitar and the sub bass to feel a bit more like a cohesive element. And those are my thoughts. I think it's dope. A lot of great ideas in here. Just arrange them in a way that feels more like a song and less like a demo reel. All right, we got our last one for the day. Bass Freak Makana. Yep, let's go. I feel like this would go harder, slower. Like if it was more of like a Justice vibe or something. Let's just see what happens. Let's just, I don't know. This might be weird. I'm just going to try it. Whoa, piano. Okay, hold on. Yeah, I mean, I feel like this goes harder, slower. Obviously it gets all fucked up and tuned down and shit, but it feels a little fast for the style of music to me. like I could do this. Let's do this and get a better representation. Or whoops. Yeah, I think it's cool. Maybe you should experiment with slowing it down. Also, I'm almost never a fan of the hi-hats that go doom tss, doom tss, doom tss, doom tss. That double like kind of sounds cheesy a bit. Okay, let's keep listening. I also think the kick drum is too long because it's like thong, like it's like a really long sub and it's kind of getting in the way of other shit. So maybe shorten the kick drum up a little bit. You should listen to some boys noise, you know, try to find a way to get a little bit closer sonically to like that boys noise, because it's kind of halfway there. In the style is there, but the production is not quite there to be like it's aggressive, but the production is not aggressive enough, you know, like even just me slamming it with a limiter makes it sound better. I could even let's experiment with something. Let's put Decapitator on the master bus, okay? And this is probably never a good idea, but you know what I mean? Like it's so close to sounding fucking badass. I think if it was just maybe a little slower, maybe not even like mid-tempo, but maybe just not quite as like fucking Chipmunk, you know? And just more aggressive on the mixing and mastering. Use distortion, use clipping, you get more, like it doesn't even really look like it was mastered at all. Like, okay, I'm gonna spend 3 minutes just doing a real quick master on this, and let's see how badass we can make it sound. I took the Decapitator off, by the Okay, so this is what it sounds like without the mastering. The Half-Life reference is pretty accurate. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I think it's fucking cool. I just think you need to get a bit more like punk rock with the mixing and production on it, and even the mastering, just like slamming it a bit. This is not a smooth jazz track. You can get dirty with the processing and get it a bit more punk, a bit more metal, you know? But yeah, I thought it was cool. Thank you for sending. All right, I'm going back full screen. Thank you guys for joining me once again every week. It's always fun. I enjoy hearing new music. It's one of the only times I hear new music because, like most producers, I probably don't listen to music as much as I should. I kind of just make music and then go home and not listen to music. So thank you for providing me with new music and hanging out every Friday. If you are new here, go here, send in your tracks. We'll listen to them next week. I hope you have a good weekend. I love you, and